There are two types of planning you need to do, long and short term. For long-term planning, make sure that you cover the skills learners need using topics relevant to them. Take into account all the learners' strengths and weaknesses. Assess learning throughout the course. Make learners aware of the progress they're making, and include a variety of techniques like audio, video, games, or kinesthetic. Record long-term planning on a scheme of work or other document to make sure you don't miss out or overdo something. Short-term is for the next 2 or 3 lessons. Before you start, decide the learning objectives for each session. These are the individual things that learners need to be able to do before they can achieve the aim of the lesson. For example, to be able to order things in a shop, they need to be able to say, "Can I have a kilo of potatoes?" Ask, "How much is that?" and be able to understand the answer the shopkeeper gives. Don't be too ambitious and allow plenty of time to build up, in stages, to a final activity where learners practice all they have learnt. Teach new language gradually. Start with understanding the context. For example, use the English My Way videos to check understanding and teach new vocab.
Can I have a kilo of potatoes, please?
Can I have a kilo of potatoes, please?
Can I have a kilo of potatoes, please?
Perfect. You say it again.
Can I have a kilo of potatoes, please?
Fantastic.
Next, get learners to use the language in a controlled way. For example, by practicing a few questions and answers with a partner. Learners should then be ready for freer practice. It helps to use real objects where you can. Don't forget to plan for learners' strengths and weaknesses. For example, less proficient learners will need more support and more exposure to the new language. More advanced learners will be able to say more during the freer practice.
Well, I'm constantly thinking about what the levels of my learners actually are. For example, the students that are more capable, I want to stretch them and challenge them because obviously you want them to keep on coming. So by giving them some thinking, or for example in the shopping unit and the shops, I sort of probably give them more shops and more items to identify, whereas the sort of ones who struggle with English, I would probably give less examples. Because you really want them to learn the names of 4 or 5 or 6 shops as opposed to 20 or 30.
You could group the more advanced learners to do a task independently, while you support a group of less proficient individuals.
When it comes to writing, I look at how much I'm expecting them to write. So the weaker learners, I will probably get them to focus on the first letter in a word. So I will sort of give them the rest of the letters in the word. So instead of water, for example, I would give them a space, a line sort of thing, an A-T-E-R, and get them to sort of see if they can work out what the first letter goes at the beginning of the word. Whereas for higher level students, I'd just give them a picture of the water and I'd expect them to write the whole of the word water.
Also, adapt your lessons to the local area.
I think it's about using local examples. So for example, local shops, doctors, dentists, hospitals, using local places, local children's centres, local schools, local post office, local banks, local garages, whatever they're likely to need to use, I make sure that I use in my planning and in my lessons.
Leave time to give positive feedback and elicit corrections to common errors at the end. To sum up, make sure that you have learning objectives that are relevant for your learners. Have planned how to assess these objectives in the session. Have planned how to stretch more confident learners and how to support these less confident. Have given learners an opportunity to practice any language learned and have considered how learners will work together.